Tell us first what Apple is doing. I think it's called Ajax or even just Apple GPT.
Yeah, Matt, thank you so much for having me. So today we've learned that Apple is going all in on LLMs, or large language models. That's the heart of the AI technology that powers ChatGPT, Microsoft Bing AI, Google Bard, and all of these fancy new AI tools we've been hearing about. So they've developed their own underlying framework at Apple called Ajax to power its own next generation LLMs. And it's also built an internal ChatGPT-like tool for use among its employees that operates very similar to the tools we're seeing from others today.
Why have they seemingly given up on Siri? I mean, Google and Alexa seem smarter than Siri, let alone ChatGPT and Bing with AI. How come they haven't worked harder on it?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think they've given up on Siri. I think that Apple is stretched fairly thin for resources. That's one problem, right? A lot of their AI effort is actually going towards their autonomous car work, right? They're working on this self-driving car. The autonomous capabilities are going to be powered by machine learning and artificial intelligence, so there's a lot of work going there. They're applying artificial intelligence to many parts of the system on the iPhone, the iPad, Mac, etc. The Vision Pro headset, there's a lot of AI that goes into that. But in terms of what we think of as AI today, because of what OpenAI is doing in terms of Google Assistant, Amazon Alexa, certainly Apple is lagging behind. And there's really a needle that needs to be threaded there between privacy and functionality. And that's something that Apple has had a difficult time doing over the past several years, but they're starting to be able to thread that needle correctly by wanting to offer more functionality while still trying to preserve that privacy marketing stance, that privacy stance on the engineering level. And I think these LLMs will show those capabilities. I imagine these will be added to their productivity apps. It will be added to their own corporate infrastructure, things like Apple Care for helping people in customer service needs. And more importantly, it'll be added to the iPhone through Siri at some point. I'm told that while there's no definitive plan of record yet for what this consumer product will be, building this underlying foundation at the speed and pace they're doing so, people involved expect some sort of major Apple AI announcement sometime in 2024.
When you say that they're stretched for resources, I look at the financial analytics on the Bloomberg terminal and see that they had $169 billion of cash and equivalents last year. Is there any chance they're going to start pouring some of that money into this, Mark?
I think there's a possibility. One thing about Apple that people, I think, miss is their acquisition strategy. Everyone knows that Apple doesn't make blockbuster acquisitions, right? They're not buying Disney. They're not buying OpenAI or any of these gigantic companies, and we know that. A lot of people think they just don't want to spend the money. The truth is that Apple has a terrible history of technology transfers and technology integration and bringing people from outside cultures and outside companies, certainly lots of people, and folding them into the company. The Beats transition almost a decade ago, they spent $3 billion on that. That remains their biggest acquisition to date. Very challenging bringing those people into Beats and integrating them into Apple. They bought Intel's modem team, right? Several hundred people, if not a few thousand people. They bought them 3 or 4 years ago for about $1 billion. That was a challenge. So I think upping their AI is going to have to come from internal work, hires, but also smaller acquisitions than anything on the blockbuster side.